Hi guys, welcome to today's flight. We are down in Zurich. We're going to do a return flight back to Frankfurt in the lovely Lufthansa Classic 727, but this time we're using the 100 instead of the 200. As yesterday's flight was very enjoyable, so I thought we'd do a return back to Frankfurt. Now I've checked the METARs, there is some bad weather in the vicinity, or some stormy clouds, so we should be in for a little bit of a rocky arrival, which should be okay. So, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Help us get to that 2K subscriber goal. And with that all said and done, now we can get inside the cockpit and start the aircraft up for our pre-flight procedures. So here we are now in the 727-100 series, where we are going to get the aircraft fully ready and configured to leave out of lovely Zurich today. We're going to be leaving out of runway 34. And we're going to be taking the Zurich East 2 mic departure, which we've got down on the departure charts as we leave out. We'll go through that as we get set up properly. So we'll go to our pre-flight procedures. So we'll go overhead now. We'll get our battery, which is guard closed, which is checked. Go ahead and get the external power on, which is also set and checked. AC meters we are going to put onto the APU, put them onto standby for now, which will also be set and checked. Bus tie breakers are all which are checked. After that, we've got the APU file, which we can go and do now. Should be checked. We can go and turn the APU on. Circuit breaker field is open, and we can now go and start the APU, so we can get the aircraft fully ready for us to leave. After that, we can get our navigation lights, which can go on and checked. We can go overhead, we can get the window heats on, which will be all set and checked for us. We can go and test the stall warning test. And we go test flight recorder test, which is checked. Compass modes are both on slave. As we get ready, we can put the logo on, which is checked. Beacons can go on and set. Got all of our lighting on, which is going to be all set and checked over. We can get our cabin altitude, etc. So we get which is checked. Cargo outflow heat can go to normal and get the gas on as well. From there we'll do our pressurization. We're going to be going for flight level of 260, which is also set for us. Cabin altitude for 260 is 1009. Which is checked. Ground is on, and landing altitude into lovely for today is 364. So we'll put it to 40 feet, which is checked. Auto is on for the pressurization, which will also be set, and go down and get our fuel pumps on 1 feet, which will be checked. System A's are on. We can also put system B pumps on, which will be checked. All of our lighting is on overhead, and we can now switch over to the APU. External power can go back on as we switch. Now we'll go over to APU power, which will be set and checked for us. Auto pack trip select to normal, and that is pretty much us set up on that front for now. As we come down, node select is auto, flight guard switch is ground, flight cabin down altitude is set. We've got the air temp select, which is main supply, which we can also set, which is their main supply, which is checked. AC packs on as required, APU bleed is on and checked, Gasper and cargo outflow heat switch is normal and checked. Oxygen pressure package is cut out, which is checked. Zone control temp is centered, which is checked. Galley power is on, DC meter is to bat. DC AM with APU shows 0 or pulsating, so we can see Gen 1, etc. So the APU is pulsating, and with external power shows 0. So it should show 0. We'll leave on for the APU. Fuel quantity, which will also be checked and set for us, so we'll get all of our fuel pumps on, so I don't forget any of them on our way out. We can test all of the fuels. Our fuel quantity, which is checked. 1 and 3 is open, and oil cooler CSD, which is also normal. System B's are on, ground interconnect is open, and we are now all ready and set to get the aircraft all ready up. So over to the front. meters. We're going for flight level 260, which is checked. Leaving out of lovely Zurich today on runway 34. We are going to be basically leaving out. We're taking the Zurich East 2 mic feet above. We're then going to basically right-hand turn to intercept onto Zurich East, which is the 11105. So we can go put the 11105 in now. Which is checked. In that runway we've got Clotten, which is 4855, which is also in. So we'll leave Clotten in for now. And you see the RMI now changing, and the HSI will come into fine for us. We've got the HSI and everything's all on. We're not using the SIBA today. We're going to be going VOR to VOR. And then once we leave out, we'll be all set on for our approach. So before we get the tug now, we can get all of our boost pumps on, which are all on. Hydraulic pressure A and B on normal, which is checked. Ground interconnect can be closed now. Altimeters and QNH coming out. We've got the METARs for lovely Zurich, and the METARs coming down, leaving runway 34. We've got 27014, 1015 on the QNH. Okay, so we'll just say 1015. Go to the reserve side as well. 1015 and 1015, which will be checked. So temperatures which are set, coming out with temperatures 13, which we can confirm is around 13 degrees. Broken clouds at 4,500, visibility 10 kilometers or more. So we are good. We've got 14 knot winds as we come out, and runway 34 is literally right there. So we're just going to basically push back and roll out. Literally. So as we go on to the next part of the checklist, we've got the anti-skid, which is on and checked. Auto brakes are RTO, which is also set and checked. Stall warning's been checked. Emergency exit lights are armed. Pneumatic brake lever is off, and yaw damper switches are go on. So we are all clear and set to go as we get ready to leave. So what we'll do is we'll call this out and get ready to push back. The tug's now driving up. We should see the door get ready to close as it gets ready to leave. We've got the APU tail skid, which is set. We can test this as well, which is also set and checked for us now. So the tug's now going to drive us up before start checklist, and we are going to get ready to leave. So passenger signs etc. can now go on, as we're just going to get everything set. So passenger signs and no smoking are on. Ground crew can be called and alerted. Window heats are also on and checked. Engine anti-ice is off. Flight director mode selector as required, and flight director alcohol switch is off, which is also checked. Course is coming out, set for departure. So as we leave out of Zurich onto runway 34.
All doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect. Set parking brake.
So I'm just going to set the course to 333. So then we can basically put our head in there as well. So there's 333, and on the departure we're basically going to be taking the Zulu 2 mic, which is 6.9% up to 1800 feet, and then 4.3 between turn 3,500 feet. So 6.9 we're going to be doing around 150. We'll get our speeds out, so 5 and a B2 is 145 as we come out. Going to need an EPR of 2.18, 97.4% N1, so we'll be coming out for around between 1,000
and connected and bypass pin inserted, release parking brake.
Okay, so as we release parking brake, we can get the packs out, which can go off and checked. We can release the parking brake, which is also set.
Starting pushback, and you may start the engines.
Okay, so before start checklist, galley power is off and checked. AC packs are off, bleed valves are all open. PSI above 20%, which it is, and we can go for the beacon, which is on, then 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we'll go overhead, go for engine number 3. As you can see, N2 is increasing now for engine number 3. Once it just gets past 20%, we'll then switch on the engine and get it ignited, ready to go. So there's 20%. We can put the fuel cutoff switch, which will go on. We'll see the EGT now start to increase for exhaust gas temperature. And N2 is now slowly increasing along with N1, which will be set and checked. We can see that number 3 will be coming back over, and once it does, we'll go in for engine number 2. Engine number 2 now, we can see the oil pressure light is extinguished for 3, and we've got N2 increasing for engine number 2. Again, 20% will inject fuel, and we'll lift the cutoff switch up for engine number 2, which is checked. Leaving out on our weight today, we've got 19.1% on the trim. EGT is starting to increase for engine number 2, and we've got 19% coming down on the trim, so around 90% there, which is set and checked. Engine number 2 now is in, as we now lift through, as I had the throttles on, and we can now go for engine number 1. So again, engine number 1 now, N2 increasing, 20% will inject fuel, and we'll see the EGT start to increase. So there's 20. And we'll now inject fuel, so number 1 cutoff switch is now lifted, and we are now seeing the EGT rise for engine number 1 as well. So all the cutoff switch will go out, all pressure light will go out as well, as we are now getting ready to leave for lovely Frankfurt today. So beacons are on, navigations are also
Operation complete. Please set parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is set. Low pressure light is extinguished for all 3 engines, which is also set and checked. So we're going to check the triple switches, get the Gen relay switches closed, we go to Gen 3 on the ESC power, and we go over to TR1, which will be checked. Everything overhead is all fine for us. Galley power can now go back on, which is checked. Remaining boost pumps are
on. Is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed, and signal on the left. I'll see you next time, have a safe flight.
See you soon, bye. Ground equipment is removed, doors are closed. So before taxi checklist, we can go for our flaps 5, which is set. We can bring the flight controls over now. So flaps 5 is now set for takeoff. We've got the wing and anti-ice switches off. The pitos can now go on, which are checked. Trim set 19.1 on a Mac. Flight controls are free and correct, which they are. And leaving out, we've got the APU master switch, which will set over fuel heat as required. Maximum 1E hydraulic system B, which is on, which is checked. AC packs, which can go on now, which are also on and set. Flight guard switch can go to flight. And we've got the APU master, which can go off. So that is us now ready for taxi. On for the taxi, we're going to come out and come around 3-4, so we'll leave out, come out onto Echo 8, and then make, well, we'll spin around and come out onto Echo 9, sorry. Turn around, round. So we can release the brakes. Just want to make sure all the ground equipment removed. Everything's all set off. So we can now power on up. So as we start to power on up now, just as we start rolling, we'll set the VORs up and get the aircraft fully configured. As we leave, as we can see, we've got heading and everything, which will be on for us. So as we just come now, as we just slowly manoeuvre the aircraft into a straight line, we'll just power back. We've got 14 knot winds as we come out, which will be in this direction as well. So leaving out, we're going to come out, it says for the 332 track, so we're coming out on the 332. Which will be set, so we can put that 1 degree down, which is 332, and then we can see 3,500 feet. We're then going to turn, which will take us then on 210 max turn. But we're then going to move around on to Zurich. So we'll intercept Zurich onto the 060. As we're now going to make that left-hand turn to come around, and we're going to get on our taxi lights, which are also set and checked. So the 727 is a really nice aircraft to fly. The old school aircrafts with the HSI, they are really nice. It's different than the modern airliners, and it's nice to actually fly these aircrafts as well. I had the 727 for quite a while, but just didn't take it out as much as I wanted to learn the VOR navigation properly before I got into it, just like with the modern airliners going through, like the 737, going through the FMC, you know, basic sort of stuff. So we're going to take this left-hand turn. Now the 727 does have a nice little idle thrust when taxiing, like idle now. The aircraft's rolling away quite nicely as we're in the 100 as well. So we're going to be a little bit lighter. We're coming out for around 63 tons, which would be around about the same weight that I'd probably use with the 737. Between 63 and 68 I would use, as I like to use as much weight as possible. So then just with the landing it's nice as well. You don't float, and with a nice little bit of weight here, you can control the descent, the flare, etc. accordingly. So we're going to leave out 3,500 feet for the Zurich East 2 mic. We're then going to make that right hand turn, which will then bring us on for the intercept. So as we slowly start now to make that right hand turn, entering onto Echo 9. And just passing the hold short, we'll then get everything all configured, we'll get the strobes on, and we'll be ready and set to go. So wait till we straighten up. I'll brakes on just a little bit as we're going to go line up now. So we're going to get our runway turn-offs can go on, taxis can go off, and get our strobes which are on. We can tell the cabin to get ready to go. 260, which is in and checked. Now as we line up, ready for 3-4, we'll then go to our takeoff checklist. Got 2.8 on the EPR. With the 737 you can pretty much just give it full power, and it's pretty much toga. With the 727 it will go a lot higher on the thrust for the EPR. So we'll set the parking brake, which will be set. We're now going to do our before takeoff checklist. So before takeoff checklist we have got the CSD oil cooler, which can go off, which is checked. Auto pack trip select can go to normal, which is checked. After that we've got the transponder, which will be ALT, which will go to TRA. Start switches are guarded, which are checked, and we are now ready to go. So as we get ready to leave, we are now going to turn off the APU bleed, which can go off, and engine number 2 bleed can go off as well. So can release the brakes. We're going to basically leave out, as we said, onto the 332, and then once we pass 3,500 feet, climb for around 1,300 feet per minute, we're then going to make that right hand turn to intercept in onto Zurich East, which is the 11005, which is right there. So we are now ready to go. If comply, initiate. So if we're unable to comply at 2005 at forward, we're going to hit forward. We're going to hit forward DME, and then we're going to make that right hand turn onto 060. So parking brake is released. We can now start to power up, push forward on the column. 2.818 on the EPR, and toga. is set.
80 knots.
80 knots, neutral on the column.
E1, rotate.
Coming out like a rocket. Cut back throttle just a little bit as we come up in onto our V2. Positive rate, gear is up. As we're going to fly the runway heading now, going into a flaps 2, as there's a very fast departure coming in. As we hold down on for our heading speed, we can get the pitch control selector up, which is for around 2,000 feet. Just trim down just a little 4 DME out. We are then going to leave, so just passing 2 DME. As we ride through, runway tunnel flights can go off and checked. As we fly through, we've got 2 DME in, 4 DME or 3,500 feet. We're then going to get ready to turn onto the 060. So, as we come through now, 3003, and we'll go into that right hand turn, which now takes on to the 060. And just nose down just a little bit to keep in with the climb at 6.9%. So we're trying not to go too crazy as the controls are a little sensitive. So just nose down a little now. Go over to a flaps 1 as we climb through. Still flying the aircraft manually. As we ride into intercept now, ready for Zurich East. So we'll just come over around 30 degrees over to the right, so we can just intercept and get ready to go. As we come through now, flaps are up, and we can now set up for 250. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put the heading in here. I'm going to quickly go down to the autopilot and put the autopilot in. We can put the VOR lock in as well, and we'll put the IAS speed in as well. The aircraft will follow and intercept in for Zurich. As you can see what it's doing now, ready for the 062. So we'll put the VOR lock in, which is set. Aircraft's now going to pitch down, so we can basically speed up for 25, and we can now start to accelerate the aircraft up onto our climb up speed, which will be up for 250 below 10,000 feet. So there we are now intercepting in for Zurich East, which we're going to fly inbound to for 6,000 above. And we've got the 062, which will be all in and set for us. So just throttle back just a little as we come through the clouds, and we'll get altitude select on, which is armed and checked. Going up for 250, just around 3,000 feet per minute. Passing through 7,000 feet. QNHs now can go back to 299 and 2, which is checked. And as we just break through the clouds, holding 250, passing through 7,007, we can now go to our after takeoff checklist. So landing gear is up and off, which is checked. Auto brake, which can go off, which is disarmed. After that, runway tunnel flights are off, and autopack trip select is cut out, which is checked. So we are now all ready to go on for our after takeoff checklist. On for the climb, got the autopilot which is engaged, hold 250, got altitude select which is for 260, and as temperature now just starts to pass 10, we can get the anti-ice which can go on, and leaving landing lights passing 10,000, transition step to standard, over on the first officers as well, goes 299 and 2, which is checked. Fasten seatbelts can go off as it is nice clear weather coming through, and just passing 10,000 feet, landing lights can go off. So we didn't have them on in the first place, which is fine. So that is us on the climb out checklist. Now as we climb up through 10,005, as you lead through, and then from there, as we're going to hold our same track now, as we're just leaving from Zurich East, we're going to go to Sewell's on the 1161. There's the 1161, which is in. And we're going to be going on to the 349. Okay, so there's a 349. The aircraft's now going to make a left-hand turn, and we're going to intercept now for Sewell's, where we're then going to basically come through. So as we pass 10,000 feet, we now can put our climb speed in, which can give around 320, and we can increase thrust just a little more, so we can come up. As the aircraft now levels, for us to speed up, just intercepting for source, which is the 349 track, and then we're going to basically make just a slight right hand turn, which will take us on to the 354, which will take us to Karlsruhe, and then basically in for the arrival will be all set and ready to go. So 26,000 feet, which is in, we are in nav mode as we are flying the aircraft just with a VOR lock. Altitude select, which is in, IS speed mode, which is on and checked, and everything is all set 11610, and we can also put in Karlsruhe, which is 1159, and with that we'll be able to see it on DME number 2 once it comes in. So that will come in on DME number 2 once it's active. Now the aircraft climb up, can just reduce power to around 1.87, and now the aircraft should resume climb up to 260. Climb for around 2,000 feet per minute, and we can see on the HSI the needle is now moving over to the right as we intercept, and the VOR lock is in and engaged. So that is pretty much it for our departure, guys. As we come through, there's for around 2,000 feet. And I suppose if we wanted to go up to 3,000 feet, which would be right there, then if we just increased our thrust just a little bit more, the aircraft will start to lift up, and we should be able to get the flight director just on for around 3,000 feet. Or maybe that could be 4,000. I could be mistaken. Maybe that's 3. Passing through 15,005, all the QNHs are back to normal. So fine and checked. So as we leave through, all the boost pumps are on and set. So that's pretty much it now, guys, for the departure. As we're now leaving and heading to Seoul, we've got 143 nautical miles. So I'll leave you with the takeoff cinematics, and then once we come back onto the arrival, what's going to happen is we're going to basically come down on for the ILS of 25 left. We've got Charlie VOR, which is our initial approach fix, which is the 11535, which we're going to head directly, and from Karlsruhe we're going to be hitting the 04 track, which will take us down to Charlie, and then once we hit Charlie we're going to make a left hand turn onto the 339, and then 11.1 DME from the Charlie VOR. That's when we make this left hand turn to come in onto the 248. Now when we make this left hand turn, we're going to come in for around the 258, so then we're not 30 degrees off as we're going to come in for this turn right here. And then we'll intercept for the 248 onto the 111.15. So just passing through 19,000 feet now, guys. It's time for us to go to our landing cinematics, takeoff cinematics. So don't forget to like and subscribe, leave your comments down below for any future flights you'd like to see, and I'll see you back in flight deck when it's time for our top of descent, ready to come in for runway 25 left into Frankfurt. So I'll see you guys in just a sec. down to Corsair, and then we've got basically 58 nautical miles to run to Charlie VOR, which is going to be the start of our arrival. As we can see, the 11535, which we can now go and put in the 11535, which we'll set in for Charlie on DME number 2. We can see the 70 nautical miles coming down. Once we reach Charlie, we've got 4,000, 2,000 in vicinity terrain, coming down for 4,000 feet. So I'm going to start the altitude and bring that down for 10,000 feet. So to start 10,000 feet, we're going to altitude select, which will be set. We're going to indicate airspeed, which we're going to, well, we'll hold the Mac first as we descend down. And we turn the VOR lock in, which is armed, as we start to descend now. As the aircraft is going to basically start to descend to catch in for our Mac. As we put a little bit of thrust as well as we come down. So we should hold for around 3,000 feet. And then the aircraft will level itself to hold on for the speed for around 2,000 feet per minute. So we are just moving around. Altitude hold is off now, as we are now just rolling through on that descent. Got the VOR lock, which is in and chair. It's currently 6 nautical miles. Then we're going to be going to Charlie on the 11535, which is going to be on the 014 track. So put the 11535 in, which is set. And we're going to be leaving out for the 014, so 4 nautical miles, 014, which we're going to intercept, which is already set in and checked. Now the aircraft will follow over to intercept on for Charlie, 14 nautical miles, 58 nautical miles to go, and we're going to be intercepting onto the 014. So that's all in and set. The aircraft should manoeuvre itself now, passing through 2,000 feet per minute. I'm going to start to bring the aircraft down, so we're going to indicate airspeed mode as we now intercept to lock on, and we're going to slow our speed down to 250. So 270 will be fine for us. Again, open up speed brakes. Let's pass through flight level 22. On for our winds coming down on the METARs. We've got a fun approach now. We've got 240 at 23, gusting 37 knots. So we're coming in on a rocky arrival as we're just slowly descending down to 270. Minimums down in Frankfurt is 200 feet, so we can go and get the 200 foot on the radio altimeter, which is going to be all set and checked. Slowing down through 224 and 224, and we've got our speed set for around 25, so we're just going to basically increase that up for around 270. Now the aircraft can start to descend down. Let's just throttle back a little bit more. So as we're slowly now descending through 18,200 feet, we can just throttle back just a little bit more as we now go into our descent checklist. So the ASUS weather has been received. We've got 240 at 23, gusting at 37. QNH is going to be for 1007. Just descending down as we want to come down for around 2,000 feet per minute. So we'll just throttle back on our throttles, so we can get the vertical speed to come down just that little bit more. Coming in for the ILS, 4,000 feet at LSZH, where we're going to hit Charlie onto the 11535, which we've currently got set in, and we are 32 nautical miles. We're going to then move on to 339, 4,000 feet, which will then take us down. Ready in for runway 25 left. 11.1 DME from Charlie, but that's when we're going to make the left-hand turn, and we're going to the 11115 intercept onto the 248. So we're currently on the 014, obviously with wind correction as well, passing through 16,006, going to be 30 nautical miles to Charlie, and then 11, so we're about 14 nautical miles on our way down to the runway. So we're going to slow down now for 240, then with the speed brakes. Aircraft's going to level itself off. Throttles are idle, coming in for 10,000 feet. Now we can drop that down to 4,000, and then we'll just basically monitor our descent as we come through. Temperature will slowly start increasing as we get down to come in for lovely Frankfurt to 25 left. So there's our speed coming. Got the speed brakes open as we can use a bit of drag to come through. So pack cooling doors on the descent with the flight altitude hold, which is off and checked. The weight and balance, which is checked. Wing anti-ice is required. Radio altimeter we've got set for 200 foot. The decision altitude, landing data and airspeed bugs coming in on the landing. We can get the speed brakes back in, which are set, coming for flaps 30, 125. We've got 23 knots, so as it is a headwind on 240, we'll round it off to 24, divide that by 2, that'll be 12. So we're doing 125 plus 12, which is then going to give us in on our arrival a 137. We've got gusts at 37. I don't really know how to calculate the gusts, as I wouldn't expect a 37 gust component to be added on top of that. Maybe a little lower, maybe, but I know how to do the headwinds, but with gusts and everything it's a little bit different. So we've got VREV 30 plus 12, which is going to give us on the arrival a 137, which will be set in and checked. Currently now temperature is minus, just coming into 0, so it should be alright to come in, passing through 13,002. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to open up the speed brakes so we can get a more rapid descent. We can just increase our throttle just a little bit. So then what that will do is that will just control our descent, and we can go just that little bit more to come in. So as we just throttle down just around under 50%, we're going to try and aim for around 3,000 feet. Passing through 12,001. Q&H's, we're going to switch over, passing transition, which is going to be 5,000 feet. So 5,000 feet will go down onto the 1007. Currently 11,000 feet, and we've got 4,000 in, which is set ready to intercept. The ILS will be intercepting down on the localizer, which will be 11.3 Dhumi from the localizer. So we're all set to come in. The 297 for the ADF. Which is in, and we'll put that in on number 2, which will be checked, and turn the ADF on as well. So we're just passing now, currently 14 nautical miles. We'll just throw back some more so we can increase our rate of descent. Coming down as we get ready for the boost pumps, which are all on. EPR bugs are for go around, which is set. Cross reads 2 open, 1 and 3 closed. That's for the main tanks equally loaded. Passing through 9,002 now, on our way, just coming down for around 3,000 feet per minute, as we are literally at idle speed coming through. So landing lights can now come on, which are checked. Checking the temperature, just coming up now for 10, so we'll turn the anti-ice off, which is also set for us. The ILS frequency is going to be the 11115. Which is set. So that's pre-armed. We're on 10 nautical miles, and then we're going to basically head down onto 339, which will intercept to come through on. So right now, currently, we are now on our heading. We're going to get ready to do the 339, which is coming through 10 nautical miles, passing through 6,008. Slower rate of descent up now to 200. And we can continue down on our vertical speed. About 2,000 feet per minute. As we slowly slow down to 200. Speed rates are now open, and as we slow down, passing through 5,006, 6 nautical miles, and we're moving on to the 339. So what I want to just do is just to test out the vertical speed, just want to see what that'll do. So that descended, and that'll keep us basically climbing. Okay, so speed brakes are in and armed, passing through 5,000 feet, 4 nautical miles to go, and we're going to go on to the 339. So the aircraft's going to level itself off now to get in for the 339, as we are now 200 knots. Just coming through, see if there's any max speed restrictions as we come in. So nothing that I can see. 11.1, we are going to make that left hand turn, and we'll switch over for the localizers. So So there's the altitude now for 4,000. We'll get some speed in as we hold through. Speed brakes are armed and set, and altitude hold, which is on and ready for us to go. So on for the landing checklist. We'll be having our gear down. We can get the Q&H's now as we are at 4,000 feet at 1007. 1007. 1007. Now as we make that left hand turn, intercepting Charlie VOR, and we're going to go 11.1 DME to make that left hand turn onto the runway. So as we increase throttle, go down to flaps 2. As we hold out, there's a 339, the aircraft's going to come back onto intercept, and then we'll make that right hand turn, which will lead us in. Just throttle back now, holding on to a flaps 2, and we are all ready for our arrival. So as we're right near the VOR, it'll probably be a little bit sharp to start with, and then the aircraft will manoeuvre itself and level off, as we could go into head-in mode. Just make sure as we back course the VOR. So we've got the 339 now that we're going to hold in for 11 nautical miles, 200 foot on the decision. Q&H is at 1007, which are all in and checked as the aircraft lines up now as we leave the VOR. So there's 4 nautical miles for DME and number 2. And we've got the 11115, which is in for the localizer, which is also set and checked. We're just holding in now on for our flaps 2. And then 11.1 DME from Charlie VOR. We're then going to make that left hand turn onto the 248. So coming through, we're just holding down. We'll do a flaps 5 once we intercept. So as we're holding the 339 now, and we're just passing 6 nautical miles. Obviously with wind correction as well, as we've got gusts coming in. So just lower through. 11 DME, that's where we're going to make that right hand turn to come in. So landing lights are all on and check with the runway turn-offs on as we get ready to go. Fasten seatbelts can go on, which are set and checked. Q&H 1007, which is set and cross-checked on either side, and intercepting for the runway. We'll then be making our way down onto the 244. So head select can now go in as we get ready, and we're going in on the 248. So we'll set the 248 up. 248, we're going to come around for around 20 degrees inbound, and as we've got the 248 now, and we've got also in the 11535, I'm going to switch localizer off. We'll run off DME number 2, and we'll get ready to intercept 11.1 DME. We'll make that left hand turn, and then we can start to go in. So we'll just get a little bit of throttle in now. There's going to be 11 DME out, 11.3 as we come through. So get on the glide slope, which will be set as we're still running head-in mode. There's 10 nautical miles and 11 nautical miles. We're going to make that left hand turn. So 11 nautical miles is just getting ready to come in, and we're going to that left hand turn. The approach is in, localizer and glide slope is set as we just get some power in. Come around from 4,000 feet, and I'll be getting ready to intercept onto the localizer. 248 is set on 1. And we can see there is the runway in sight as we come down, so we can go into flaps 5. Drop it down for around 160. We set our bugs in as well, as we've got 137. So it's going to be a 140 as we come through. Flaps 5's in, localizer is now activated, and we're going to line ourselves up for runway 25 left. So we'll throttle back now as we come down to flaps 5. Glide slope's just slowly moving down. As we lose some speed, we're ready to intercept for the glide slope. So we'll see the glide slope go green, and then we'll intercept to come down. So So we get some power in. Now we're going to flaps 15, get down. There's a glide slope, now the aircraft's going to start to descend. So over our flaps, let's see what we've got. We've got 5, 15, 20, 25, 30, so it's just like 737. So flaps 15 is in, get a little bit of power in as well. As the aircraft just establishes the glide slope, we just stay without flaps 15. As we have got some terrible winds coming in as we get down for the runway. So as we are established, we can get our runway tunnel lights which are on, landing lights which are on as well. Landing gear is down 3 green, and we are ready for the approach. Following in off the glide slope, the aircraft's coming down, lovely. And we've got 200 foot decision coming in, ready for runway 25 left. Airport is in sight, we have the runway in sight as well. As we see the winds now starting to come through, so we're going to go down into our flaps 30. I'm going to hold for 140. As we've got 137, which is like we read plus 12, got gust as well, so we'll leave 140 with us. As we slowly start now to slow down to our VREV speed for land. So you can see the wind knocking the aircraft around with the localizer, as we can see all of that. So we go to our landing shows, we've got landing gear down 3 green, we've got flaps which are set for landing. Mr. Brown altitude, which was set, we've got back for 4,000 feet. Runway tunnel flights are on, and hydraulic pressure and quantity is normal. So, since the aircraft is a little bit rocky right now, what I'm going to do, guys, is we can do some manual flight and turn off the autopilot, which is now off, and we have full control of the aircraft. So, we can come over now and manually line ourselves up, as we have got a lot of, little bit of wind in the vicinity. So, I just want to get in a little bit of rudder through, so we can sort of push ourselves over and get back in line with the runway. So we're fully established and fully ready to go. Holding in. I don't want to go too close to the 140. I want to just stay in, as we've got 23 knot winds and they're gusting for up to 37. So we're just basically keeping control, keep an eye on our speed, and we'll just watch the glide slope as we come through, as we're probably looking for around about between 700 feet per minute. So we're just waiting for the glide slope to come back. The aircraft is fully set for landing. And we are manually flying the approach down. We've got the glide slope which is down, which is right bang on for us. And just making minor corrections now for the localizer. So we can line ourselves up nice and smooth for the runway. So there's our 140. Try not to go down through near to 1,000 feet. Get a bit of trimming. So it's getting a little bit more choppy now. Too red, too white. So we can see the winds are pushing over just from the left a little. So we're getting some rudder just to correct, and then we can just counteract with some aileron input, so we can get ourselves centered again. And just keep control of the descent for around about 500 to 600 feet by the looks of it, as we're not going down to 140. We're just staying near to 140 as we come through. Too red, too white, and we're looking lovely on the approach. 1,000, which is checked. So we just descend down a bit to get back with the glide slope. There's the glide slope coming back up. true.
500. Minimums.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, speed brakes are on. And reverses are active. So as we were a little bit light tonight, and with the wind, you can see how it's trying to gust us off of the runway. Any knots reverses can be stowed. 60 knots with the auto brakes down and in. And we can now start and get ready to turn off of the runway. So we can now retract the speed brakes. Flaps can also be retracted. And welcome to Frankfurt, guys. So a little bumpy one tonight, as we had the wind setting in for us. So we just slow down now. We can start to get the aircraft fully configured to come through. So as we pass over the hold line, we can get the runway lights off. Landing lights can be turned off as well, along with the strobes. Then we get our taxis on as well, which are set. So that's it for the flight tonight, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, don't forget to subscribe and support the channel, as I do appreciate all the support you guys show. And I will see you guys for the next Babel flight on the channel. So take care for now, guys, and I'll see you all very soon.